Alright, welcome back to another Art of War 3 replay. I'm your host, John Cena, and today we're going to be doing a 1v1 battle. I'm going to be in the bottom right corner of this map, and my opponent is going to be a resistance player in the top left corner. Now, my opponent for this particular battle is a pretty strong player. They received a medal in the Bronze League from the Searching the Nautilus tournament, and they've got a pretty high win rate as well. So we've got a pretty good battle lined up here potentially. So let's go ahead and get into it. We got some early game action going on here. We got some scouting that's happening around the map. I'm trying to get my infantry towards the red player's base, just so I can get a scout onto the red player. And we can see a container here by the red player's base. This is a surprise. And I'm going to see if I can steal this container, and yes, I will be able to swipe that container from the red player. So, not a great move on the red player's end in terms of missing the scouting. Looks like red player is teching up. Let's see what kind of stuff the red player has put down in terms of base development so far. So, we see there's a couple production factories and some barracks down and supply centers down as well. So, looks like this player is teching up more quickly than I am. They're going for an HQ3 build, and looks like double assault vehicle factory so far, so currently suspecting some kind of ground build potentially. Meanwhile, I'm still teching up to HQ3, and we can see that the red player is moving a little bit faster than I am. They've got more production structures down than I do, and they're able to upgrade at the same time. So let's go ahead and fast forward this a little bit. I've got a scout in the back of the base. It's going to get discovered. So my plan here is I'm going to mirror the build of the red player. So I've got 2 assault vehicle factories for vehicle production, and I'm going to go ahead and upgrade my special vehicle factory to level 2 so I can get some torrents out. So right now I'm continuing to put down some more infrastructure just to get my base a little bit more fully developed. I've got 6 supply centers, and I'm going to go ahead and send a hammer out over the top of the ledge just to get a visual on the map. We can see that there's some riflemen in the trees providing that resistance player some coverage on the map. So I've got 2 hammers out now. One of my hammers is firing on a rifleman that's standing on the plateau. Right now I'm in full production mode now, trying to see if I can get a ground army out. But let's see what the red player is up to. I'm going to see if I can maneuver my hammer over to the red player's base so we can get another scout on the red player. So my hammer has made it across the plateau. Let's see what the red player's got. My hammer is firing on a barracks. We can see a level 3 assault vehicle factory and a Jaguar out. We see 2 Jaguars out. And it looks like a special vehicle factory has been finished as well, so we know for sure that the red player is going to go for some type of army composition, including Jaguars, possible mammoths or porcupines, depending on the resistance player's preference. So my build to counter is I'm going to go for some Zeus, Torrents, hammers, and some infantry to support. I've got a couple fire assaults mixed in just for anti-infantry support. I'm going to see if I can capture this resource container in the center of the map. This is one of the large resource containers. So if I'm going to be able to secure this, then this will give me some nice resources just to continue with my army production. I'm going to see if I can go for a fast HQ3 army, max out my command points, and make a push onto the red player's base, and go from there. My army's just about done. We see a helicopter, Dragonfly, from the red player. We see some armadillos coming out as well. Those armadillos are tanking the damage from my units while the Jaguars are dealing out the damage. This is a nice setup for the red player. I'm trying to move my ground army in. I've got 4 torrents with me. It's a lot of firepower on the ground. And I got some fire assaults to deal with the grenadiers, but I think the grenadiers are going to be able to take care of my fire assaults. Meanwhile, Dragonfly's coming in now, and these Dragonflies are pretty tanky ever since the new update. We've been noticing that a lot more resistance players have been using these Dragonflies, and we can see that my ground army has been pretty much cleaned up for the most part. This is not looking good on my part. I'm going to need to regroup here, so I'm going to go ahead and regroup my forces, and I'm going to change my composition up a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and start to try to incorporate some heavy assaults to dish out some anti-Dragonfly damage. So I still want control on the plateau. I still want to have some visual presence. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep an army somewhat close to my base. I don't want to venture too far out yet. We're just going to put some fire down onto those dragonflies, and we're going to continue to produce units. Meanwhile, I'm also teching up to HQ4. My hunch here is that an HQ3 army build is not going to be enough in my case to make a push onto the red player's base successfully. So I'm going to go HQ4 just so I can get the heavier tech out and get more units in production out. We can see Dragonfly coming in from the red player, getting a very nice scout onto my base. So red can clearly see what I'm up to and knows that I've gone for an HQ4 build. I use my heavy assaults to clean up that Dragonfly, and that Dragonfly is no more. So Dragonfly is now coming in for the red player, and this is a fair amount of Dragonflies. They're going to go ahead and put some fire down on my torrent, and my heavy assaults are out of position. These Dragonflies are going to be able to clean up that torrent, and then they are just going to escape. So it looks like a little hit and run there. Meanwhile, we got some Mammoth fire coming in from the red player, and those Dragonflies are coming back again for some more harassment. I'm going to have to keep maneuvering my units. I don't want to stay in one place for too long and have to worry about those Mammoths. I'm just continuing to build my ground army right now. Meanwhile, I've got a Cyclone now moving, and I'm going to see if I can get a scout onto the red player's base with the Cyclone while using my main army to put pressure onto the red player. So here we go, second engagement of the battle here. The Dragonfly is coming back in, and we can see that I've got heavy assaults, fire assaults, Zeus, and Torrents. We can see the red player has done a good job spreading out their Jaguars, so they got their Jaguars in a nice defensive line, and some Mammoths as well for some long-range anti-armor. My units are continuing to press forward though, and we can see a good scout on the red player's base. They've got a lot more supply centers than me, but he is still in the process of upgrading to HQ4. It's not quite HQ4 yet, which means right now I have the tech and production advantage. So my ground units have mostly been cleaned up, but so has the red player, so it's pretty much a stalemate for the most part right now. Red's going to go ahead and retreat. I am still suspecting that there's probably going to be chameleons at some point, so I need to be ready for that. Here's a coyote now trying to get resources from one of the big containers. I'm going to be able to move in my army here though to deny resources for the red player. This is going to be nice. I'm going to be able to score a couple resource boxes. So continuing to just build my ground army now. My plan is to go for a Zeus and Torrent composition with some fire assaults mixed in to potentially jump into any chameleon fog. So right now, just maxing out those command points. I'm almost done maxing out those command points. And once I've finished, I'm going to see if I can make another push onto the red player's base. So here we go, making a push onto the red player's base. I'm going to do it slowly though. I have the Torrents for firepower, but I don't want them to get cleaned up by Dragonflies. We can see Chameleon Fog has been deployed. I'm going to go ahead and deploy one of my Torrents to put down some fire onto the red player. And here we go, we got some units engaging. I'm going to throw on a gold attack boost here, and I'm going to start to move my army forward even more. Just trying to get those Torrents in as good of a position as I can before attacking. And here we go, we're going to launch the full assault now. So we got Jaguars from the side and Jaguars in that Chameleon Fog trying to clean up my units as much as possible. I've got a lot of infantry mixed in though, and I've got the resources to continue to reinforce it. It looks like red is going to pull off the plateau. This is a big move on my part, which means that I'm going to be able to take control of this area here on the plateau. This is going to be very nice for me. Now I've got control of this upper part of the plateau, and if red wants to retake it, they're going to have to climb up onto the plateau, and that's going to be a very costly move for them. So now I've got 2 Torrents putting down fire on one of the entrances, and I've got 6 Zeus tanks firing on the other entrance. So I'm going to do this nice and slowly here. I don't want to rush going down into the base too soon. I'm just going to slowly build up my ground units at the top of the plateau where I have nice visual control. And I'm just going to do harassment and damage with my Zeus and Torrents from as long range as possible. So we got two different chameleon fogs moving in, and I gotta be careful here to make sure that I target the chameleon fog appropriately as needed. I'm gonna go ahead now and move my Zeus onto the left side of the map here. It looks like there's only a couple Jaguars left, and I've got plenty of Zeus tanks. This is going to be enough to clean up those Jaguars. Chameleon Fog moving in now to provide some coverage for the units defending. This is way too much heavy armor, though, for the red player to deal with. They're going to lose this assault vehicle factory, and the assault vehicle factory goes down. Here comes another contingent, though, camouflaged by the Chameleon Fog. I need to be careful here. I'm going to go ahead and pull back my Zeus tanks, and I'm going to bring in some other units and infantry to combat the fog. And with that, we're able to push the red player back off the plateau. So now that I've regained control of the plateau and I've got units close to full command points, I'm going to go ahead and move my Zeus tanks off the plateau again. And this time I'm attacking from two different fronts now, so this is going to make it difficult for the red player to defend. I'm still keeping my torrent on the top of the plateau. This is going to make it very difficult for the red player to make any sort of advances onto my plateau, so I can continue to reinforce as I push onto the red player's base. This is pretty much the beginning of the end for the red player. I've just destroyed a second assault vehicle factory. Red's only got one level 3 special vehicle factory and one level 3 assault vehicle factory left, along with a couple barracks. But that's not going to be enough. I have pretty much a full army here at the red player's base, and I'm just going to be able to move onto the red player's base and crush them. Alright, hope you all enjoyed this 1v1 battle. Relatively quick battle here against a Medalist, and I just wanted to showcase that some good strategic planning can help you secure a victory. Alright, good luck on your battles. We will see you in the next one.